How to survive an IRS audit. It is one of the most stressful things that can occur. There's a lot of other stressors in your life, and this, I can tell you for doing this for more than 15 years, it definitely escalates the client stress level. And so let's talk about how to get through an IRS audit, how to survive it, and not have it as stressful as it can be to help eliminate that. The first way is you can hire a tax attorney to assist you with it. That creates a buffer between you and the IRS. That attorney, everything that you tell us will be subject to attorney-client privilege, which means we cannot divulge what you tell us. We have a duty to keep things confidential. So if you say, listen, I know my books aren't good and I took deductions that I might not have been entitled to, or my CPA created deductions that I know nothing about, we're not going to go into the IRS meeting, and if we're asked about that, we're not going to divulge it unless we've talked to you about that. That is one of the main differences between having a CPA or your tax return prepare or represent you versus a tax attorney. So when you receive the audit notice, one of the things that you will notice is the IRS asks for your bank statements. They are also going to be asking for perhaps your expenses. So they're going to ask for bank statements to verify your income. They're going to give you an information document request that's going to detail out what records they are looking for. Now, it won't say we want to see all the receipts that for your business purchases from Target. They don't have that level of detail. They just know what the tax return is telling them. But what the IDR will say is all of your receipts and invoices to substantiate your office supply expenses. And you're going to provide records. And the best records are an invoice and proof of payment. And for business records, you want to show a relationship to your business. The main test is that it's necessary for the production of income. So any expenses that you have, you want to talk to whoever's representing you in the audit about, they're going to need to know how your business runs. They're going to need to know how you handle cash, how you handle payments. What deposits do you put? Do you put money into a personal account? Do all of the receipts go into a business account? They're going to need to know for your records, if there is anything that is unusual, you are going to want to bring it to your tax attorney's attention. Your tax attorney, when they go through the records, will likely flag it and say, okay, let's talk about this. I've in some audits, I have seen everything. One of the most common issues that we'll need to talk to clients about is if you are in a professional career, and you are just wearing, like what I would wear to court, a suit, but they say, the only reason I have that is my job. And so they deduct the cost of their wardrobe. And that's something that is not allowed. There's very few exceptions to that. And if I see somebody giving me wardrobe receipts, I'm going to ask about that. And we're going to talk about what was proper, what's not. If it does come under some of the exceptions, I'm going to ask for documentation for that. Another common one is I have my car, I drive it all around. I put a magnet, or I had it detailed showing my business number. Just doing that does not make every trip you take and all of your mileage a business expense. So what we do is we help the taxpayer come up with mileage logs. So to survive an audit for the documents, you are going to need to give them the granular level of detail. an explanation. They will likely need bank account statements. If you're running a business, they're going to want the ledger. They're going to want the profit and loss. They're going to want more documents. If it's personal and you're a W-2 employee, it should be fairly straightforward. If you are somebody who's a more sophisticated investor, if you do crypto, if you did some tax shelters or some complicated tax planning, that's going to be more complicated, and that will you're going to need a more detailed level of explanation. You are going to need a much more detailed documentation. IRS never believes when you say, trust me, I'm honest. This is, you don't need to see the documentation. The auditor is there to determine, did you claim your income? Did you claim all of the expenses? Not that you were entitled to, but can you document the expenses that you have? If there are additional expenses, you can present those to the auditor, and they should be accepted. We've done that a number of times. When you start, from the time you start the audit till the end, when the audit is closed out, and that could mean a variety of things. That could mean that you're going to protest it to IRS appeals. It could be having them issue a notice of deficiency, or you agreeing with the changes. The time for a personal is going to be a minimum of 6 months. Once again, depending on the sophistication, the complexity, it can definitely extend out longer than that. A business audit is generally going to be at least 9 months to a year. It's not uncommon for them to last 18 months. Once again, it depends on level of sophistication, and if there are items that flow through from your business return to your personal return, IRS is going to open both of those up. So if they open up 2021 tax return, they're going to open the business that year on the tax return, as well as the personal, because any adjustments they make for the business is going to flow through the personal. So once again, if it goes from business to personal and the two tax returns interrelate, they're going to open both business and personal. I hope that gives you kind of an idea of how to survive an IRS audit. Always remember to take self-care. This will be over. It is a process. It's not a quick and easy process. But if you take care of yourself, you get competent representation, you are as transparent as possible with the IRS, and you're able to give them the details they require for the income as well as the expenses, it should go much easier. And if it's more complicated, or if there's things that you know that are wrong there, I highly recommend getting a competent tax attorney to assist you where you have attorney-client privilege. That way, if they decide to depose your tax return preparer, you don't have testimony from that tax return preparer that is something that you told them in the consultation for their audit. I hope that helps. Once again, I'm Anita Steburg, of the CEO and founder of the Steburg Law Firm, and I hope you found this useful.